Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. Good morning, Sue. How are you today? Who else is here? Say hello. I would love to talk to you. Good morning. Hi, Heidi Cope. How are you this morning? Good morning, good morning. Heidi, where are you watching from? Today is Art Journal Day. Who's happy? I am. I have thought up the most fun thing to do. I am so good, Sue. I am so good today. The sun is shining. It's getting warm here, but that also means that my pool is nice and warm. So I like to go for night swims. Like at the end of the day, I like to just go for a swim and do my little water aerobics and then take a bath and wash all the chlorine off. And I get in my pajamas and just, oh, it's lovely. Hi, Lynn Trock, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we have kind of a lot to cover today. I want to talk about, remember that today is also the garden art party. So be sure to make sure that you're registered by going to the crafty, what is it? Sorry. That's my supply list. thecraftycrowd.com. Go there, and that's where you can register for 14 free art classes. And oh my golly, well, we're going to have so much fun. I am going to be teaching this project. We're going to make a tin can bouquet. So dig in your pantry and find a tin can worthy of being a vase for your lovely bouquet. So that's today, but also today, my I think I might have put it away. My latest stamp from Unity is out today. And it is called Laughs with Flowers. So be sure to go to Unity and check this out. It is on sale today, and it is, oh my gosh, it's enormous and so fun to add color to. Well, hello, Nicole Keller. Oh, I love that. I love that. I will be sure to get her in, Vicky. I will be sure to get her in. Okay, so this is the stamp that's being released today. It's called Laughs and Flowers. It's a 2-stamp set, a giant slimline. But remember, you can cut this in half. You can cut it, not the stamp, but once you've stamped your image, you can manipulate it to fit whatever size card or project you're using. You're going to be using it for. I stamped it and painted it on a piece of copy paper, and I'm going to be adding that to my art journal. You know it. So know that that's happening today. And the garden art party, which is so amazing. I put a little challenge out yesterday on Instagram to see, I'm curious how many masculine cards we can create with the Fodder art printable. I don't know. I'm just kind of challenging myself, and I would love it if you joined me to see what we can see, you know? What else? Oh, Bible journaling. Let's get artsy with our Bibles. Remember, this registration is still open to create this project where there's lots of techniques that we're going to learn in here. And it is Saturday, June 18th, I believe. That's this class. And then Artsy Alchemy 2 is on Sunday. And we will be doing jelly plate printing and weaving, which will be so fun. Okay, so if you are brand new here, I would love to have you join us. Please, if you would take a moment to like, comment, and share Anne Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Anne Corbiere-Scott. That's just the loveliest, the loveliest creative community. You'll be so glad. You'll have this lovely group of art friends from all over the world. It's the best. It's the best. And everybody, if you would please take a moment to make sure that you like this video. It means the world. And give me lots of comments. Let's have a big conversation. Don't you love that? Okay, so here's my thought for today. So this one's going to be labor intensive, but it'll be so worth it. So I glue sticked 2 pages together. So it was just a little thicker, and I put some deli paper behind it because I want to do a, whether Father's Day is it the 19th, everybody? I think. I believe it is the 19th. Can anyone tell me? Okay, let's see. So Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles is the 18th. Artsy Alchemy is the 19th, and that is also Father's Day. Okay, so remember in the very beginning, that's funny, Lynn. In the very beginning of this month, I printed my fellow fodder on both watercolor paper and copy paper because I like to use copy paper in my art journal because they're both thin. But you know, you do you. So I'm going to use the deer patch today. So I'm going to cut this out just roughly so I know that's where I'm going, and set that aside. And then I'm going to paint a watery background. So I don't want to do traditional colors. I'm thinking I want to do like traditional deer colors. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to do brown or anything like that. I like a nice bright color. And so I'm feeling like I'm going to, let's get my palette up here so you guys can see it. There we go. I'm thinking let's, so I have some orange that was a little spill through from this page. Remember this way back in February? But I'm going to use that to my advantage. Like, I think I really like that corally color. So I'm thinking I want to do like maybe shades of orange. I don't know. But I want to get a nice watery background first and then add some color. Because I'm really digging that wet on wet. Keely, I haven't watched that video yet, so don't talk about it. The wet on wet. But I will. Okay, so now I'm gonna come in with like a bunch of different oranges, I'm feeling like. And I want it to be quite rich with color. I don't know, just kind of feeling that. So I'm gonna take this little water bottle and get some water working into those colors. Add some more. Remember, sometimes you just need to work the water into the color. That will make a difference. And I'm all right if it wrinkles. I don't really care. If you do, then take a minute to unwrinkle it. But this works best, I will say, on a double page. Or, you know, you could put some watercolor ground down if you happen to have that. And remember, watercolor ground is a product that will turn anything into, well, I should say any surface into water, have the properties of watercolor paper. It'll give it tooth to hold the paint, right? So, all right. Now, I'm going to set this aside to dry. And, I mean, I could dry it with my dryer in a minute, but for right now, I want to take a minute to, I want to do this in shades of blue. Because remember, blue is opposite on the color wheel from orange, right? So blue and orange, opposite on the color wheel. Yes, watercolor ground is very different than gesso. Watercolor ground, let's see. This is watercolor ground. So, there, do you see it's quite thick, but it also has texture. So it's going to, you know how watercolor paper has tooth, right? It has like a texture. I mean, hot press doesn't. Hot press is quite smooth, but cold press, which is what I kind of prefer, has a texture. And so, so I have a couple of pages in my art journal that I have covered in watercolor ground. I know you can't feel it through the interwebs, but like this page has watercolor ground. So I could still draw on top of it, right? But it's gonna absorb paint in a whole different way. And that's a page that I glued 2 pages together. Let's see if I can, there, this one has watercolor ground, this one has watercolor ground. You can see that it's, it just has some texture. I don't know how else to describe it. And it's gonna hold watercolor in a whole different way. So just so you know that. All right, so let's set that aside. So like I said, I want to use blues, I think, for this deer. I just feel like that's kind of where I feel like I'm going. So I'm just gonna take this cardboard, I know, it's lame, and do my oops, sorry about that. Move my light out of the way. So I'm going to do kind of a watery wash of blue on here. Oh, Laura, what did you ask me a long time ago? I saw it. Just a second. Can you post that large flat edge brush you used? Okay, so you can get a large flat anywhere. This is Moderna by Royal Langnickel, and this one is an angle, but they also have flat, right? And this is a cheapie. I got this at the art store at Arizona Art Supply, and you could probably get those online, but it was like $3, maybe $4. It wasn't much, but it was made really nicely. So remember what we've talked about, a couple of things. You want to make sure that I like a brush with good snap, right? I want nice, firm snap. I also don't leave your brushes in water. That's a big one, because that's going to, that will loosen everything in here. And don't dry your brushes up like this. I like to dry them flat, and then I can put them in my vase where I store them when I'm not using them, once they're dry. I hope that helps. Does that help, Laura? So now I'm going to take, but you know what, Laura, you can absolutely use your round brush. It doesn't have to be a flat brush. I usually just use whatever is close to me. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Paintbrush. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with some of these blues. And because this is on copy paper, remember we don't have the same amount of wiggle room that we had on watercolor paper. So once it's down, we can't move that paper. We can't move that paint, right? So that's something to really think about. So I'm gonna just get some water down, and then I'm gonna start with a little bit of this blue. Okay, that seems really dark, so let's get our paper towel and let's stamp off as much as we can. You know, I like to create really nice thin layers, right? So let's dry that. Remember, it will lighten as it dries. Oh, golly, I have the coolest thing to talk to you about. Okay, so, first thing I want to talk to you about is I was listening to a segment on YouTube, because you know what, that's kind of my new TV. I watch more things on YouTube. You know what, because I can listen to it while I draw. Not that I feel the need to have to explain it to you, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so I was listening to a Hoda and Jenna little segment on YouTube, and they were talking about saying no. And remember, we've talked before about how, oh, that's nice and dry, how once something kind of comes into your consciousness, all of a sudden it's everywhere. Like once, so I just had to say no to something that would have been a cool opportunity, but I just knew it wasn't a good time for me. It wasn't, it just wasn't a good fit at this time. But I kept putting it off because I didn't want to say no, because I'm a people pleaser at my core, which I try to fight every day. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. So then I did. I finally wrote the email and said, I'm sorry, but I can't dedicate the time and energy that needs right now. And I found myself at the very last second almost saying, but maybe in the future we can. And then I thought, no, don't do that. Just say no. It's okay to just say no. So then I come across this little video, and it's all about setting loving boundaries for yourself. And you're not really doing anybody any favors if you say yes to something and then you're miserable, right? Or a little bit resentful deep inside. Anyway, so they talked about loving boundaries and that women's no's are not received as clearly as men's. I thought that was interesting. And then they talked about listen to yourself. Right after they ask, whatever the thing they ask, listen to yourself. How does your body like respond to it? How do you feel? What do you feel like that's making me so happy? That would make me so happy and I would love that. Or ugh. Think about that. Think about that. Or I just can't make that work right now. So learn to say no assertively but not aggressively. I just thought that was so good. Like it just spoke to me. Because I struggle with it. But it feels nice. Like after you do it, if you feel that big relief, oh my gosh. That's the most yes, absolutely, Keely. Your gut is going to tell you if that seems like it's doable or not. Right? Okay. So I have two, so I'm going to cut this out. I have two sentiments that I wanted to kind of marry together somehow. So for the first one I thought was oh dear, O-D-E-E-R, right? I love that. It was hard, Keels. It was hard. But I just knew that it wasn't my strength. It wasn't. Like I would have to forego something that I've already said yes. Yes, exactly. We do try to justify saying no. And they talked about quit saying I'm sorry. I was like, oh my gosh, are you in my head right now? That just stop saying I'm sorry. Because we say I'm sorry for all kinds of things that we're not really sorry about because it doesn't really make sense to be sorry. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so the two sentiments that I was thinking about that I want to somehow work together were oh dear and never underestimate yourself. You are better than you think. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. Shut up, Michelle. That's so funny. Oh, it's a hard habit though, isn't it? But look at how that pops right off of there. I love it. Okay, so last time I think I put my little patch in the beginning. I think. This time I'm thinking I'm just going to have it a little bit off-centered. So I'm going to glue stick my patch down. And this is the part that's going to take a while, but it's going to be so satisfying. Oh, look, I've got glue all over the front of it. Brother. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then let's grab a baby wipe and wipe the glue off our hand. And then let's take our black pen and I'm just going to start doing some circles around this patch. That doesn't mean that I can't come back and do some. I love them too. You don't like the scent? I love the scent because it smells like cherries, like almonds. I just love them. I have so many. So I'm gonna just start drawing circles, and they can be wonky. They don't have to be perfect. Doesn't matter. Big and small, I don't care. Just circles and circles and circles and circles. Oh, I'm loving it. They are the best. I'm telling you, they are the absolute best glue sticks. And I will put them in my Amazon list thing, my artsy arsenal. So just know, if I tell you to bring your artsy arsenal, that just means bring all the artsy things, right? Bring your watercolors, bring your colored pencils, bring your pens, bring your brushes, bring your pencil and your white eraser, all of those things, because you want to be able to just create. Like, sometimes I have a plan, but I also want the freedom to remember an art journal is about exploring and playing and working some ideas out, right? So I have an idea, but I want to have everything at my fingertips in case I want to, do it in a different way as I'm going along. Everybody take a drink. I have a giant bottle of water today. So I'm just going to continue with my circles. And I love that they're wonky because my paper is really wrinkly. I love that. Okay, I think I can get one more circle around because I'm right at the edge of the paper, right? I'm gonna go there and then come here, meet up there. And now I have this moment, right? I can figure out ways that I can, wonky circles are the best, aren't they? I love them. I love them. Okay, so now I can think about this in a couple of different ways. I could write my sentiment and then do some of this line work, right? Kind of around the sentiment. Or I could just fill the page with line work and come off, like I could come here and go around. Shut it. That might be cool. So it looks kind of sort of like a I Dream of Jeannie bottle, right? So down, 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 and then go around it, and then down, and then just continue with that, right there. It's just freewheeling. I'm loving this. And then I can just continue to repeat, right? And then I can put my, I can add my sentiment in a number of ways, right? So if I think of a way to add it today, and I don't use that, then I can just lock that into my artsy arsenal in my noggin, right? And I can use that another day. So I'm gonna just continue doing this. I'm gonna continue to fill in my space, right? With this shape that I've drawn, right? I'm just going to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And remember, how cool is it that I already hit my first layer was my page that already had a grid pattern on it or lines on it, right? I already have that beginning of a the first layer. I love that. And then the second layer is the color, and then the third layer is the line work. I love that. So we're just going to keep filling it in. Yes, sun rays would be very cool. Sun rays would be very cool. So put that one in your noggin if you don't use it today, but we can do it another day. I'm loving this. So this one is going to be, like I said, it'll be quite labor intensive, but you'll love it in the end. And remember, we're not trying to hurry, right? We're not in a rush or in a race, right? Hi, Sally. We're just kind of getting in that flow state. Right? It's more meditative than project forward, you know? There we go. Oh, I'm loving it so much. Let's just do the same thing. We're just going to go around. And look at how pretty that background just becomes part of the fabric of it all, you know? I love that. Such pretty layers. And you know, this is kind of interesting because it's a little bit like the knot, like a knot in a piece of wood. That's kind of a cool thing, right? That's kind of woodsy and outdoorsy and where a deer might want to be. But I just thought of an amazing idea. See, I have this little space right here. I'm just going to write "oh dear" right here. I think that's going to be perfect. Like, it can be quite understated. It does kind of look like tree rings, doesn't it, Lynn? Yeah, I'm digging it. I kind of like it too. I do, Miss Nancy. How are things in your neck of the woods? I haven't chatted in a while. Remember, these do not have to be even Steven. Please let go of perfection. Just have lots of fun. Hi, Renee. Look at that. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, so I could leave it like this, or I could start to fill in some of these rings with mark making. So I've been kind of thinking about it. I have a little chart. You know, we have our mark making catalog, right? But I'm thinking I want to start with like just some V's. Nice and slow, take your time. So that background color is still showing. There we go. Oh, how fun. Oh, Nancy, you're going to have so much fun. You're going to have so much fun. Oh, I'm loving that. And then I have a little chart I drew for myself with some different patterning that I was thinking about. So I'm going to just start working on, I think I'm going to start by doing every other circle so I can, or every other gap, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling. Oh, I did want to write, oh dear, right here. Stop! I'm loving that. I love it, love it, love it. That's perfection in my book, in my estimation. So now, let's see, I have this next. You could, that's just it, Lynn. You could do whatever you want, right? You could do whatever you want. Fill in your spaces however you want. I'm going to do loop-de-loops in this one. Remember, you can turn that art journal. It's not nailed down. It'll be so much easier on your hand. And you'll be happier with your line work if you turn your art journal. I just think that black really pops, doesn't it? I'm loving that. Loop-de-loop. And this is such an easy patterning, right? These loop-de-loops. Easy peasy. da. Almost all the way around. Yeah, I'm liking that too. I'm liking that too, Len. I mean, that's the part of art journaling that I love because of all the layers. Like as you go around, you start to, or as you add layers, little bits and pieces of other layers are going to peek through. And how amazing is that, right? So let's see, what else do I have? Oh, you know what? We could just do some regular old lines. And we could just do all the way around. I'm doing every other ring, but if you want to do every ring, go ahead, give it a try. Just keep working on this one. I told you it's going to be quite labor intensive, but holy, it's going to be so pretty when we're done. And what will we have learned? So many things. So if you want to fill yours with words or patterning, mark making, colors, whatever you want. I just knew I wanted to include the deer head and the words "oh dear." That was those were my two must-haves. So pretty. Are you all creating alongside me? I hope. Or are you just watching for this right now, and then you'll create later? And that I understand too. Oops. Oh, Heidi, I'm so glad. Working, creating, or working? Michelle likes to watch it at work and then create later. You know, you do whatever works for you. That's for sure. I don't ever want somebody to feel like you have to do anything. There we go. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. What am I going to do next? Everybody take a drink. Oh, I heard another story that I thought I would talk to you about. It was on oh, kills. I'm dying to see. So it also comes from NPR. You know, I love NPR. So there was a story, and I will put a link in the newsletter this week to the whole story. So if you are not on my newsletter distribution list, be sure to do that. There's a place right here on Corbiere-Scott Designs to sign up. Or if you go to my website, a pop-up will come up, and just enter your email address there. Anyway, or if you ask to join the Let's Get Artsy with Corbiere-Scott Designs, Corbiere-Scott private Facebook group, it will ask for your email, and then I will added to the list. Anyway, I'll put the whole article there, but I just wanted to talk about a little bit of it today. Find your singing voice with these 5 tips. Interesting. Singing is the only instrument that people don't allow themselves to not be good at right away. I thought that was interesting. So if you took up the drums, you wouldn't expect yourself to be, I'm trying to think, Keith Moon of The Who the first time out, right? But singing, we like compare ourselves to like beautiful vocal artists, right? But there are some things that you can do to improve your skills. Start with a little pep talk and follow these tips to help build your skills and confidence. Give yourself permission to try. Singing is a skill, just like any skill. It takes time and practice to develop. Practice stretching your speaking voice to your singing voice, and then practice some more. I found this one very interesting. Take a speaking phrase and start to elongate it, making a positive affirmation like, "My voice is strong." As you repeat the phrase, introduce excitement into your speech. That'll help you more naturally slide into singing. I thought that was so cool. I know. You know what? I just wish that more adults knew the power of their words, Michelle. Because you never know if you might think it was just like a little comment, an innocent comment, but that person might take it to heart, right? You just never know. Focus on your breath. Take a breath, and instead of trying to focus on filling your diaphragm, they say that just causes stress. Just focus on feel the way the air fills your lungs and your stomach, and then push that air out from your belly. I thought that was really interesting too. They also say finding your own singing style. That was really interesting too. That it doesn't have to be any particular, it doesn't have to be any particular singing style. Just, what works for you. And then they talked about, the final thing was, think about singing as a gateway to yourself and others. That maybe you could join a choir, or you could join a band or whatever. One of the girls on my design team, Donna, is an amazing singer. So I just thought that was, she's gotten to sing at Carnegie Hall. Can you even imagine it? I just thought that was what a feather in her cap, I do love to sing in the car. That's so funny, Michelle. Yeah, yes, in the car. Well, I'm a pretty singy person. And my music taste is it's all over the place, right? So I will sing kind of anything. I'm trying to make these more random and not so patterny. I will sing anything, sing to anything. And I find quite a lot of enjoyment. I was just telling my husband, when we were little, we used to drive from Bay City, where I grew up, Michigan, right here in the Mitten. And then we drove all the way north and then across the Mackinac Bridge to the Upper Peninsula, all the way to the Tippity-Toppity, right on the Canadian border, to Sault Ste. Marie. And it was usually about a 4-hour drive. But both my grandmothers lived there and all my cousins lived there. Anyway, we would to pass the time, we would sing songs in rounds. My dad would never join in. Can you believe it? My mom and us kids did, and we just loved it. We loved it. But my dad was, he did not. I listen to everything too. And I find enjoyment in listening to everything. And I remember this girl I used to work with was like, Anne, you sing to everything. And I go, yes, happy people sing. She didn't think that was funny, but I think it's true. And that's not from an article, that's just from me. I think if you're happy, and doesn't it just have the power to make you feel happy when you sing? I love it. I wish there was a way that I could figure out how to have music in the background, but then we would all be singing. Well, I don't know. He was just, you know what? He just wanted to get there, I think, Laura. But maybe he did. Maybe he did. Like, I can't hear row, row, row your boat without hearing it in rounds in my head. It was so fun. I'm kind of feeling like maybe I'm going to color these dots in with a black marker. You know? I'm kind of feeling taking a bigger marker. Yes, I will listen to anything. I will listen to anything. Old country western music. They don't call it country and western anymore. They just call it country. Whatever. Anyway, that's what my dad always listened to in his truck. So if we were going with him, that's what we listened to. And that played in our house kind of a lot. But my mom also had a lot of albums that we listened to, like especially like if we were cleaning the house or doing those kinds of activities. But music always filled our home, always. But I will listen to that, and I'll listen to hip hop, and I'll listen to rap, and I'll listen to pop music. I'll listen to, you name it. You name it. See, I like them better colored in, I think. I'm digging that. I'm even feeling like maybe, no, that's good. I was going to thicken the lines in between also, but I kind of like the thick, thin contrast. I'm kind of digging that. So did you refer to your mark making catalog, or are you just winging it? Or is your mark making catalog kind of already in your head? Do you know what I mean? I find that because the more we do, the more art journaling we do in our art journals, and that we use mark making, it just becomes part of the artsy arsenal in your noggin, right? You just know those mark making skills. Oh, I love it. Now I'm wondering if I should do the same. I think so. Do that same mark making pattern here. In this row. Oh, I'm liking that. So pretty. Everybody take a drink. Four minutes? Yikes. How is that possible? Oh my gosh, Lynn. Keely and I are known to take pictures of all kinds of things. Like, that'll make a perfect pattern. Let's remember that. I love that. I love that. That's a perfect idea. Earlier, I don't know if you were in here at that time, but earlier in the year in this class, we did mark making catalogs where we painted stripes and then we did all kinds of mark making, so much so that we have 2 pages or 2 sets of them. Here's one set, and then there we go. There's another set. Hotel carpeting. Swear. Hotel carpeting. Do you remember it, Keely? I don't even remember what hotel that was, and we looked up and we were both taking a picture of the same thing. And because once you kind of become in tune to it, you're going to see it everywhere. Okay. Now I'm going to connect them. Oh no, I want the other. There we go. Maybe I'll finish this by the time 4 minutes is up. Almost there. Make that one a little bit bigger. Stop! I love that one. I do keep adding to my my catalog. Like as as you create, then you all of a sudden you're like, oh, what if I did it this way? What if I did it that way? I mean, you could do it with 2 different pens like this one, right? You could do a thick line, a thin line, a thick line, a thin line, a thick line, a thin line, right? Think your patterning can be whatever you want it to be. So I want to fill my whole page with patterning and then fit my date down in here somewhere. And then I am good to go. But I told myself I was just going to enjoy the process, right, of creating this. I didn't want to feel rushed or any kind of pressure, because art journaling there is no pressure in art journaling. It is just for fun, I promise you. And you will, the more you create in it, the more you learn. Like, oh, I like those colors together. Oh, I like those patterns side by side, or I need to leave some space next time in between those patterns because they conflict with each other. You're going to learn all kinds of things as you create in your art journal, and just use it for that. Use it for learning. I hope that everybody had a great time creating with me today. Remember, you're going to create with me again in a little while in the garden art party. And Let's Get Artsy with Our Bibles, June 2022 is open for registration. And you can join any of the classes that are on my website. You can join those at any time. If it's on my website, you can take it and you'll type in the name of the class in the Facebook search bar, and I will see when you click the join button, I'll see it and I'll get you into that Facebook group. And once people see you in there, they'll engage with you. Promise. Everybody does. Because we're so excited that somebody else is creating something that we created, and we love to create together. But also remember, so any class that's on my website you can take. Artsy Alchemy, take advantage of the 3 classes for $25 because that is ending in July. It will start to be a monthly class. Make sure you go over to the Unity Stamp Co. Facebook group today, or Facebook page today, because that's where all of the cool stamp releases will be there. And remember, I have one. Laughs and Flowers. And like I said, I'll see you in a couple hours in the garden art party. Thank you so much. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video. Let's grow this community. I mean, who doesn't want more artsy friends? Not me. I love artsy friends. I adore you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to make art with me. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you in a couple hours. Bye, everybody.